All right, so everyone should now be muted. All right, welcome everyone to the May accounting call. I appreciate you guys taking the time to join through required attendance. Required attendance is always the best way to get participation. Makes me feel popular and valuable, so thank you for adhering to that requirement. As we get started, this joke I'm sure everyone can relate to in some way or the other. Obviously it is more of a joke as we like to focus on teamwork at Horizon, but made me chuckle. Really quickly, I want to mention that in the sporting world, the Clippers had an epic choke job. Don't know if many of you are basketball fans, but it made me laugh to watch them give away the series against the Rockets. My Oakland A's have tumbled horribly since last month, so I'm not going to dwell very much on that. The only good thing is hopefully we can get the top pick next year so that we can trade it for a middle reliever or some other waste. Last thing I want to mention having to do with pop culture. The top movie in America right now is Pitch Perfect 2, beating out Mad Max. I won't lie, my wife wanted to go see Avengers, and I actually convinced her to go see Pitch Perfect 2. Kind of embarrassing, but I love that stuff. Wasn't a very good movie compared to the first one, I didn't think, but still, it was enjoyable enough, especially since I wasn't the only guy in the theater like I thought I would be. All right, so really quickly, I'm going to move the quote on over here. That quote is, "Teamwork makes the dream work." Seems to go counter to what the joke was for this. But this is a big part of the Horizon platform. You guys may or may not recognize it. I hope you do recognize it. It is actually part of the Horizon Pledge. So if you didn't recognize it, just pretend that you did and put on your to-do list to go and read the pledge and sign it. The pledge is a big part of our company. I'm going to try to mention a little bit of the pledge every month, not to really, well, actually, yeah, it is to really hammer it into you guys so that you guys know how important it is. So please, if you don't have access to the pledge, ask me, ask your manager, get a copy of the pledge because that is everything that you should be basing your decisions on. It's what we do as a company. So make sure you understand it, especially the teamwork aspect. We're really big on teams. We really want to work together towards our success, especially in the student world right now as we're trying to finalize all of our lease up and renewals. So won't harp on that any more than that. All right, so we're going to jump right into some housekeeping items. We only have a handful of Entrada properties at the moment, but those 4 properties, you know who you are. A point for you guys, we've added 3 items to your AME checklist. They're not scary items or difficult items, but I wanted you to be aware of them before month end came and you saw them for the first time. Those 3 items are going to have to do with the GPR report. It's called GPR report 2 and 3. Essentially, it's going to want you to verify the accuracy of the GPR report. Make sure you didn't accidentally post rent to a prior period. Make sure that you don't see a very strange potential rent amount, lost to lease, things like that. We're developing a physical companion checklist for that for you Entrada sites. But for now, just know what that means. If you have any questions on it, let me know. But it's really important with the rent posting that everything is accurate and within the same period. So be mindful of that. Reminder, this is going to be reminder 1 of the 2 reminders to please type your full name and property into the chat window so that I can take attendance. We don't want you to sit through this meeting and not get record of that. So please type in the chat window your name and your property so that you can get record of attendance. All right, now Mark should be on the call. I'm going to unmute Mark, and he's going to take a few minutes to talk about AP, just as a company and some things that we need to look at. All right, I've unmuted everyone. Mark, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. If you want to go ahead and take it away, I'm going to manually mute everyone else while you're talking. If you suddenly stop, then I'll know that I accidentally muted you.
Okay. Well, it's not really an AP overview, but I just wanted to encourage any of you out there that are entering AP to make sure you're doing a thorough self-review because we're catching a lot of mistakes that are coming through payroll, and it's slowing down our cycle and our turnaround time. In this last payroll, we found multiple properties that were making duplicate payments on the same invoices. We found, I think, over 10 payments that were going to be made to the wrong vendor, and then payments on quotes and estimates and statements when as a general rule, we should only be making payments on invoices. So like I said, if we're cleaning that up, it looks better to our vendors and helps us in turning around and paying things faster. And then the only other thing is that there's training guides and support available. So if you're new or even need a refresher on best practices with AP, please feel free to reach out to us offline so we can make sure we're doing our best to, as a team, to make the EP process as concise as possible and support you guys. So that's all I have, Clint.
Great. Thank you, Mark. I don't know who you're talking through, so I can't mute you again, so try not to talk. How's that?
All right.
I wanted to mention that we as a company are looking to move towards a global collection agency. Previously, we've been really allowing the sites to choose your own and kind of do regional collection agencies. We want to bring everything under a corporate umbrella to help us better set everything up, better track it, and things of that nature. So right now we're in the vetting process. Mark and some of the regionals are sitting in with meetings with different collection agencies to see what they have to offer, the rates, their percentages, best practices, etc. So please, if you have any input, send it to myself and to Mark so that we can take that into consideration as we're looking at those different companies. Right now, I mean, we're looking at being pretty strict policy of potentially 30 to 60 days where it's going to automatically send that paperwork out. So if you have any thoughts on that, let us know. If you think there's going to be any exceptions, let us know. We want to try to address as many of those up front as possible so that we come out of the gate strong with clear policy in place. So reach out to us again if you have those thoughts, and that should be not too distant future. We don't have an exact ETA yet, but it shouldn't be that far out. All right, corporate audits. In the past, every time that we would mention the audits and what sites we were doing, that site inevitably would reach out to myself or Stephanie May in a little bit of a panic, really worried about what we were looking for, if they were in trouble, why are we auditing them, did something happen, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we're actually moving in a new direction with our corporate audits where instead of focusing on one property every 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to try to take 1 or 2 primary topics every month or so and look at it company-wide to really encourage corporate adherence to the same policies, and so that we're seeing where everybody is at the same point. So it's a little more beneficial for us so that we can better adjust our expectations, we can help the sites, we can do whatever we can to make sure everyone's on the same page. So we're right now coming up with a list of those potential topics. So just like anything else I'm mentioning here, if you have any input on that, please email myself, Stephanie May, or Mark Lucas, and we will take that into consideration for that list. Some of the basic thoughts, just to let you know the type of things we're looking at, is looking at employee rent setup, employee leases, because I know as soon as I said employee leases, or if you guys got the agenda, you probably were feeling a little guilty because we know a lot of sites are not using employee leases in the proper way. So that would be one topic. Bad debt process and protocols, that's another thing we want to make standardized across the board, just like the collection agencies. So we're going to look at how you're handling that at each site. And we actually did our first one this month. We didn't really give anyone a heads up, but Stephanie May kind of ran with it this month. So Stephanie, I believe you're unmuted. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you want to just explain what you did for this month and what your results were?
Yep, yeah. So last year, towards the end of last year, we had sent out an email to all the sites just requiring that all lease and application, all lease paperwork be uploaded to one site so we can, the site can look at it anytime, corporate can look at it anytime, anyone can really look at the lease and the details of each resident at any time. And so what I did is I went through every property. I sampled between 10 to 25 people from every property to see if all the documents were uploaded. Their application, lease addendums, all that jazz. And the results turned out to be pretty positive. And I have our 3 top properties that I wanted to give a shout out to. Forest Hills had 100% of the ones I sampled uploaded, so that's awesome. Branbury had 96% uploaded, and then the Zone had 92%. So good job to those properties. And then we will probably be reaching out to all the other properties, letting you guys know where you guys stood, and to try to come up with an action plan on how to help you guys get up to par on that. And that's it.
All right. Great. Thank you. I appreciate that, Stephanie. Along that same note, this won't necessarily be a corporate audit, but I wanted to mention it. The student properties out there, a lot of our communication tends to focus on you guys, especially during this busy season. But Stephanie May and myself have been looking at the flash report for the numbers that have been reported for your guys' site and what's in one site to see why those numbers are not matching. So you guys should be getting an email either today or tomorrow about some internal auditing that you guys need to do on your site if you don't already have some scheduled. Essentially, wait list cleanup, that's one of the biggest things we're seeing. You shouldn't have anyone on your wait list for dates that have already passed because that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So we'll send out some instructions so you guys know what direction you need to go to kind of clean it up and get those numbers in line. Because I know that it's not always on you guys, but everything that we say on these calls, we really are counting on you guys to take back to the site, to the managers, to your leasing managers, and everything else. So let them know that it's coming, and hopefully you guys are involved and can help with that. Because people in the accounting world, I'm a little biased, we tend to be a little bit more detail-oriented. So I'm sure they're going to utilize your skills in that way. So just know that that's going to be coming the next couple of days for you student sites. Last bit of housekeeping I wanted to mention before we started having some of our guest speakers is the help desk systems. There's been some confusion as of late as to what help desk systems are out there. When we tell you you need to contact support, there's different support. There is in our internal Horizon support, which is now used on the Spiceworks product. So if you get any kind of communication from Spiceworks, that's internal Horizon help desk. It's either Stephanie May, myself, one of the accountants, Kane and Christian, etc. When you email helpdesk@horizonra.com, that's where it goes. It goes to our internal help desk. We did a demo of this a few months ago, but I just want to do a reminder. There's also two other types of support we might be referencing. One is RealPage support. If you go to horizonra.com, it's this icon right here, RealPage support, where you click on it and it will prompt you to start filling out the ticket. If we tell you to contact RealPage support, this is what we want you to do. You can also email support@realpage.com, but filling out this ticket will get you the quickest response. So that is for the RealPage one. Now for our Entrata folks, if we ever say to contact Property Solution Support, then we're talking about inside the system where it says tickets, and then you can contact support, or you can create a new ticket through this screen. So those are the three different ways that you can deal with support for RealPage, for our Horizon, and for Property Solutions. So please be mindful of that if we do ask you to contact a different support. I think it's been confusing because people think, well, I just contacted support. There are differences, so be mindful of that, and let your site staff know. You guys, we haven't had as much of confusion on, but some of the leasing managers or leasing agents have been confused about those differences in support. We don't work for RealPage. RealPage doesn't directly work for us, so there's not that connection. So that's just wanted to put that out. We're going to have that mentioned on the manager call as well, so that we can try to get that confusion cleared up. Okay, I don't know if Mia has joined yet. Are you out there, Mia?
I am, Clint. Thanks.
No problem. So what we had happen as a quick introduction is we had a new option that we mentioned a few months ago, which is the ability to actually process refunds directly with ACH. And Mia volunteered to try this at her property. So we just asked her to take a minute or two to discuss what she experienced, pros, cons, etc. So Mia, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Hi, guys. So I'm Mia, and I'm the account manager out at Chase Village. And I guess we're set up conventional, so the pros and cons that I've kind of faced might be a little different for the student housing setup. I do have a lot of roommates, and I've come up with some issues that might be similar, so hopefully my overview will help you kind of work through that. Anyhow, I've been doing them for about 2 months, and I have to say I love it. Having this available as an option for refunds has just simplified my life. It's made past residents moving out really happy. They're getting their money a lot quicker. I'm not having to bother corporate every day with refunds, so it's definitely more efficient. If you're going to do this, I would say I've set up a protocol. I've kind of learned from errors. What I do is I have people who, when they're coming in to talk about their refunds, I make sure that they're bringing me a voided, because I think that's probably the biggest potential for a con. Just maybe you're entering the wrong account number or the wrong bank, something that's going to have that payment not go through. And I don't know what happens. Like maybe Clint can help me out here, but I have no idea what happens if you enter the wrong account information and you send it out. So that, to me, that's like the biggest fear of me doing this, is just inaccurate information. Other than that, it's great. Let's see. I have notes. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm on vacation and it's been a little hectic day, so I'm trying to just gather my. Just got home.
You're absolutely fine. Don't worry. You calling in on your vacation?
Well, I really wanted to talk to you guys about this because I love it. I'm really shocked that no one's really been doing this before. It's cut down on a lot of work for me. So, yeah, as far as cons, then one of the things I don't like about it is I don't have a way to verify that the deposit's actually been made. I've asked some of the residents, hey, can you give me a call as soon as it hits your account? That way I know for my own peace of mind that you got it, and no one's really called me back. Not that I expect them to, but I'd like to see a way that maybe you can check in and verify that the deposit has been made, or even just look at the transaction and double check to make sure you've entered the account information correctly. And as far as I know, there's not a way to do that yet, but hopefully as more people get on board with this, that's something that we can address. But there's really nothing bad about this. I've definitely had happier people. I've used this for a Yes We Can. We had a flood, and the people were unable, like they financially couldn't afford a mattress that was ruined by the flood, and it was not, it was on us to fix it. So I was able to do a refund and direct deposit into their account, and they were able to buy a bed within 2 days instead of waiting, maybe a week and a half for the check to come from corporate. So it's definitely been super beneficial. And like I said, the biggest thing that you're going to want to do with this is setting up protocols beforehand. I make all the roommates come in and talk to me and let them know that you guys all have to agree on who gets what amount of money from this. So it's not like I'm giving one person 200 and the other person 100 and they're not aware, and they have that conflict. So I've had 4 apartments come in and talk to me, and they've all signed a piece of paper, brought me their voided check. They've all agreed that if a refund is due, this is the percentage each person gets. And I think that's going to really, if you do something like that, it'll really reduce any kind of problems down the road. And like I said, just making sure, the same as anything else, I do apartment walkthroughs. And CJ had mentioned the only drawback he could see with doing these deposits is maybe refunding the money, and then later, like a week later, finding out that there's a carpet charge that you didn't take out of their deposit, but you've already sent that money out, so there's no way to get payment. I walk the apartment, so I'm super comfortable with what I'm charging, and I'm comfortable in knowing that there's probably the likelihood of me getting a surprise charge a week after I send out payment is really unlikely. So if you're not walking apartments and you want to do this, I would definitely recommend start walking apartments. Only, there's a lot of other great reasons, but I think it will help with this and make you more confident when you're sending out a payment, knowing that, yes, you charged everything you needed to charge. Yes, sending that money to their account, it's what they really should be getting. Oh, and another great thing with the roommates is with the ACH, you can do multiple deposits. It's not just to one bank account. I tried it, I think on one I did 3, and it just seems like it would keep going if you needed to. I obviously didn't have any more accounts to send money to, so 3 was my max. But that's another great thing about it. That's about it. I'm sorry.
No, that was absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mia. That was great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think you hit on one of the key points is as we start rolling this out, you've had a positive experience, but we are going to work to with the sites to establish a protocol so that you can feel comfortable on your individual sites rolling this out. So again, thank you, Mia, for testing it and also being an advocate for it. We will definitely pull on that knowledge as we start developing these protocols. All right. So the next person I was going to have jump in is Laura at the Republic. Are you there? Oh, I've muted you. I guess that would help, huh? I'm sorry. All right. Can you talk now?
Yes.
All right. Really quickly, as an introduction, she has been doing a fantastic job at the Republic, specifically about delinquency. We can never talk enough about it, but she is known for zero delinquency every month. And I just want her to take a couple minutes and share some of her ideas on it, and she graciously accepted. So go ahead, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Clint. Hi, everyone. So I'm Laura. I'm the account manager here at the Republic. And I just want to talk to you about some tips and tricks that I do that has been working for me. So what I've been doing, I try to send emails to all the residents probably 1 or 2 days before the first of the month, especially when they move in, you know, send them a reminder in September, October, just so they can get the hang of it that rent is due on the 1st. One of my hardest months this year was probably January when they were on winter break because they all forgot about paying rent on the 1st. So I definitely send a reminder on the 1st saying, hey, hope you guys are enjoying your winter break, but rent is due. And just a nice reminder. On the 2nd, I try to send another email to them saying, you know, rent is due by the 3rd at the end of the business day. If I don't receive the payment, this is what's going to happen. Another good trick that has been working for me, I try to be really nice and try to help everyone. You know, everyone comes with a different story, like, oh, I lost my job, or I had a family emergency. So depends on the situation. I try to really work with them, but be really firm on your decisions. If you decide to only wait for the payment till the 10th, make it the 10th. And if I try to wait for them to give me the payment, I tell them up front, you're going to be paying for all late fees. So I'm not going to be waiving any of those. Other than that, that's pretty much what has been working for me. On the 3rd also, I try to send another reminder. This one gets a little bit more direct to everyone saying, hey, today is the last day, and today is the last day that I'm willing to accept payments either over the phone or online or a personal check. After today, I can only take certified funds. And obviously, since people hate going to, you know, the bank and getting cashier's check or money orders, they try to make the payment as soon as possible. And those are probably my hardest days, the 2nd and the 3rd. That's when I send most of my emails. And on the 3rd email that I sent is on the 4th. And also what I do, I send it specifically to every single resident. I don't email blast the property. So it takes me probably all day, especially on the 2nd, because that's when I send the majority of the emails out. But I try to send it to every single one with their name on it. Because I get a lot of phone calls from residents, guarantors, saying, hey, you know, I did make the payment, I paid it this day, but, you know, either, oh, I paid the money or I sent the check, but the check hasn't arrived. Or I deposited the money to my son or daughter, but the son or daughter never paid the rent. So it's a good thing to send it personally to every single one instead of emailing blast the whole residence, because then they think, oh, I paid it, everything should be fine, when it's really not. And that's pretty much all I've been doing. And I think the main key is sending the email to every single one of the residents with their name on it and with a specific amount they owe of their balance or late fees or evictions, whatever the case is. But I think that's what has been working for me. And
fantastic. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's fine.
I really have liked hearing about your approach, because I thought it really emphasized one of our key points, and that is, or some of our key points being finding what works on your site, really developing it, customizing for your site, taking a corporate idea or strategy and molding it to fit your site, and also the use of personal touch. That's what I've heard multiple times about you on your property, is that you've really added a personal touch and related well with the residents, and it's really helped with that relationship. And if any of you remember, a few months back we had Monica from Colony Talk, and she actually mentioned a very similar thing. And that's one of the things that we can see is common on a lot of our lower delinquency properties, is a common thread that the account manager or whoever's in charge of collecting rent works really well with residents, has a great touch. So I am very happy that you mentioned those. So thank you for being willing to talk. I appreciate that. So I'm going to mute you now, so you have to worry about background noise. We are running a little long today. I apologize. We had some technical errors at the front. So the last thing we're going to have is Lindsay May, who's one of our accountants among many other things. She is going to run through some FAS processes as a quick reminder, as well as just a few kind of odds or ends based on that. So Lindsay, I'm just trying to find you on here. I'm going to see if I can make you the presenter.
Okay.
You know what? Let's see. What is your name on the GoToMeeting right now?
It should be Lindsay.
Just Lindsay. Okay. There's a few Lindsays, so I didn't want another Lindsay to accidentally have her screen showed. So.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
I can. Hopefully can everyone else see it? Well, I guess I'm muted and you're all muted, but I can see it, so I assume you all can as well. So go ahead and take it away, and I will snatch it back as soon as you're done and wrap up.
Okay, awesome. So we just wanted to review the FAS process with everybody, because a lot of our student housing properties are going to be having move-outs this summer, and so it's just a good refresher course. And I just want to kind of remind everybody, just like Mia said earlier and CJ said last month, it's really good as the account manager to be able to join your maintenance supervisor, whoever is doing the walkthroughs, during move-outs, because this will really help you be more confident in the charges that you're posting to resident ledgers when you're performing these FASs. So that way, if the resident is disgruntled, if you send them an FAS on the balance due, you're confident in explaining to them the reason why the charges are on that, and you saw firsthand the condition of the apartment. So when you go to perform your FAS, one thing you want to make sure you have is your forwarding address. I know from firsthand experience, when you don't have the forwarding address ahead of time, it can make the process a lot more difficult, especially when you're under a time crunch. So I'm going to go over two different FAS processes. One will be with a refund due, and the other is going to be with a balance due. So the first one I'm going to do is with the refund due. So you just open up the resident profile, and I'm sure many of you guys know how to do this, so it's just going to be a quick refresher. You're going to click Close Account under the actions. And this is in the test site, so we don't have an actual forwarding address for this person, but if you needed to add their forwarding address during the FAS process, you can just enter the address by clicking this Main Street button, and then click Next. So this individual is not going to have any charges added to their ledger, but there is going to be a refund due. So you don't have to do anything on this screen except for click Next, and you can see right here that it shows the refund due is $382.52. And then you're going to click Finish. And now you can see that the status has changed to former resident.
Oh.
When you're performing an FAS with a refund due, you're going to need to approve these for extract, which will push it over to the accounts payable individual, who is Nina in our office for many of our properties. But before you approve for extract, you want to make sure that all of your charges, you're finalized. You know that that's going to be the refund that they're going to get, because otherwise it makes it a lot more difficult after the check has been cut. So to approve it for extract, you go back to your Today page, and it's under Alerts and Approval, so you can see right here that the FAS is pending approval. You click More, Details, and then Approve or Reject. Right here you can clearly see, you can also open it and clearly see whatever it was if you weren't the one that performed the FAS, but you're the one that's approving it. So you're just going to click Approve for Extract, and that's all you have to do for that one. One more thing that you're going to need to do when you do a refund is you'll need to email a copy of the FAS to Nina, so that way she knows it's okay to cut the refund check. So the next account that we're going to close is for a balance due. So same process, open up the resident profile, click Close Account, enter the forwarding address if needed. And now here, all of these charges in this box can be customized. So say you enter several charges that are carpet cleans in the amount of $25. We can customize that for you guys. Just let us know, and we can, we'll just need to know the description that you want, the default amount, and then the charge code that you want used, and we can customize those for you, so that way it makes the process much easier. But for this instance, we're just going to add a cleaning charge. So we're just going to click Add Charge, type in clean, and we're just going to do a $50 cleaning charge. And for this purpose, we're just going to say the bedroom was not clean. And you want to be as specific as you can in this instance, so that way the resident knows what area of the apartment it was that was not clean. It wasn't the entire apartment, but it was their particular bedroom. So click OK. You can see the total account balance due is $50. Click Next after you've added all of your charges, and finish. So for this instance, you don't need to send it to anybody in the corporate office, but you do need to mail a copy of all FASs to the resident, so that way they can have a copy of it in the mail. And we also recommend that you keep a copy of the FAS in your resident files. That way it's always easy to access if one site is down or if you don't have access to a computer at the time. One other thing I wanted to show you guys, when you're performing an FAS, you can add a comment box down here, and all of those comments can be customized, and it can be customized to where if there's a balance due, a certain message will generate, or if there's a refund due, then another message will generate. So I believe that's all I have. Clint, do you have anything to add?
No, I thought that was great. I appreciate you taking the time to set this up and to run through it.
Yeah, no problem.
It's always nice to get a reminder on this. So, okay, Rebecca. Rebecca asked a question about even with accounts. I'm assuming you're asking if accounts that are $0 can get a custom message. And the answer is yes. I mean, anything, I'm not sure which one to pull on. I have to test it. But those messages should appear on all FASs. I'm just not sure for the $0 amount which one it would pull. So that's actually a good question. I can look into that for you. So just email me after this and remind me, and we can look at it together, Rebecca, and we'll figure that out. So last reminder I wanted to do before I wrap up this call, if you have not already, please type your full name into the chat window along with your property. A lot of you have clever nicknames on GoToMeeting, and I don't know who they are necessarily, so I want to make sure you get credit for attending. so that your managers and regionals don't ask you what you were doing during this time instead of being on the call. So please make sure to type that information. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you all for joining. If you guys have any feedback, additional thoughts, you want to volunteer to run the call next month, just let me know. I'm happy to accommodate any and all requests to the best of my ability. So thanks again. If we can do anything to help you guys succeed, just let us know. Have a great day, guys.